or good afternoon for some of you, depending on where you're based. My name is Jocelyn, and I'll be guiding you through the Figma to code. We will be specifically highlighting the dev mode. It's going to be a short stream, so it's only 1 hour long. We're going to have a couple slides just to get us introduced into Figma, and then we're going to build our own project and we're going to show off some cool features that Figma is basically showcasing, such as a Figma, MCP, and other stuff that's inside our dev mode. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, always feel free to drop them on the chat. As always, we have a couple hellos in here. You'll actually be seeing plenty of me today. I'll be giving these Figma stream, and then once we finish, we're gonna have like a 10-minute break, and then we're gonna hop on into another stream that's gonna be about building your own rack system. I was just finishing that one this morning, so hopefully you will like it. The code is, I mean, there's improvements, but we will get there. Good morning. Nice to see you. All right, so Sarah was mentioning if you were in my stream yesterday, I only have one screen, so maybe I will be switching back and forth between sharing and not sharing screen. So please bear with me. I'm doing my best in here. I think I'm using the presenter mode in Figma for the slides, but let's see. And yeah, just before I forget, don't forget to check in. There's a link in the chat. That's for you to get the points for the weekend. If you checking in there, then you will be getting your points for attending this stream. What else? On the slides for Figma, there's no introduction about myself, so I'll just gonna do it right now. So my name's Jocelyn. I'm based in Mexico. I study robotics and digital systems because I really like it. One of my fun facts is that I really enjoy salsa dancing on my free time, and I also collect bee plushies. Yesterday, I show you all one of the plushies that I brought with me because right now I'm not based in Mexico right now. I'm based in the US because I'm doing a research internship on neuroengineering, so I'm in there as well. But I'll be returning for the holidays because I like to be home for the holidays. That's always nice. Hello, nice to see you all the way from there. Okay, we have another person that's based in Mexico. That's really nice. Hopefully you will enjoy this stream, and maybe you have met me at Mexican hackathons or Alberto as well, which is another Mexican coach. So it's either me or Alberto that we get sent to hackathons in Mexico, but we sometimes get assigned, like for example, these next months, so January and February, I'll be going to LHacks, which is in Toronto, and then I'll also be going to Make UC. No, I already went to that one. Well, I did want to Make UC, which is in Ohio, and then I forgot the name of the other hackathon that I'm attending, but it's on Texas, so it's really close to where I am. It's only a 1 hour car drive, so I'll be there on Texas A&M University. I think that's the name, but correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so let's get started. I will start sharing. Hopefully, I share the correct screen. That's the one corresponding to the Figma slides. This one's for the audience, and then let me add it in here. There we go. That's showing off nicely. Great. So now I'll just be using the ones that are for the notes. Let me make another screen in here. Yesterday I was just multitasking really intensely because I had many screens on my single laptop screen. Maybe I should invest in a portable monitor to take, because I do have my iPad, but I don't know how to connect it to my Windows computer. I did try some apps like by Googling it, but it was not working. I don't know why. If someone knows how to make that work, please let me know in the chat. It will be really helpful to know. And yeah, okay, so that will be all for my introductions and extra things. Let's start because we only have 1 hour, so we need to make it last. Don't mind the QR code that's in there. That one is just a placeholder. The correct link for registration is on the chat. It's our check-in link. Yeah, so I mentioned today we're going to be seeing the Figma to code. There's nothing really complicated. But before we get started, it's important to know what we're going to be doing. And it's always nice to have a schedule of what we're going to be doing. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to get access to Figma Dev Mode. We're going to do that through an educational account, similar to what we do on GitHub. Then the second thing that we're going to do, we're going to learn about the basics of Figma design. Then we're going to design a quick web project. And in the last 30 minutes, we are going to create, ready our project for development, which is basically leave our project ready. Then we're going to convert the design to an HTML format. And we're going to open up that HTML file on our browsers to see how easy it is to use these dev mode functionality. And yeah, at the end, my goal here is that you will find the dev mode a really easy tool to use and extremely helpful for bringing designs to the IDE, which is basically our main goal. And yeah, for this stream, there's no need for you to have experience in Figma or any other designs created. It's just an introduction. I have to admit myself, I never used Figma. I only learned Figma for these types of workshops, so basically at MLH. So if I make a mistake or if I get stuck somewhere, that's completely up to me. I'm not a very experienced person with Figma or tools that are related to front end and frameworks. And you will get to see how someone as unexperienced as me gets to do this project, which is, we're going to see what the project that we're going to be building is about. Okay, so now to get us introduced on Figma for people that are not aware on what Figma is. First, I would like to ask the chat. I'm seeing that there's people in there. Who in the chat has used Figma for a project, or maybe to make slides, or maybe to make a mock design or a wireframe or something? And then there's the checking link chats to be an older one. Yeah, for the QR code, that's an old one, but I shared the one that's correct for December 13. Let me send it again on the chat so you can also have it. There we go. What if you are not a student and don't have a student email? To be honest, I'm not sure how that would proceed. We will get to that section in a second, and we can see the instructions together if there's an alternative as well. Hi there, nice to meet you. Okay, there's another +1, so people that are in similar locations. Nope, didn't use it before, then you're just like me. I have used it to make a prototype. You're very experienced. Use Figma for almost everything. Well, then we have someone that will save us in case that we get stuck somewhere. That's nice to see. Yes, no worries on sharing the link. I recently used it to make logos, still a beginner. I mean, that's more advanced than what we're going to be doing today. So hopefully your previous experience will help you build the project. And the slides have really pace-to-pace steps. So it's going to be super easy to follow along. I have used Figma file to take measurements from CSS designs, but that's about it. Oh, that's a really interesting application for it. Use it for prototype. Great, that's nice to see. Plenty of people that have used it, so there's plenty of experience. I've used it a little bit, but it's been a while. I get you. There's sometimes that, like yesterday I was mentioning that I use Flutter for, well, I used to use Flutter for most of my projects back then in high school, but then I just dropped it. And if I were to code in Flutter framework, I would definitely be completely lost. Great. And I also like your profile picture. It's really nice. Okay, so now that we see that there's plenty of people that have built with Figma, there's also another variety that are just learning. It's nice to see. Definitely keep the conversation going. I love to see your messages up there. Okay, so Figma has different tools. It's not only about building mockups for your applications, but there's different things that you can do with it. So the first thing is called Figma Design. This is one of Figma's most popular product because it's about designing web pages, applications, or mainly just wireframes for your designs as you wish. This is mostly the standard for designers worldwide, and it's a really popular design collaboration platform where you can collaborate with the rest of your team in order to make these slides really, really nice. It's very useful when designing websites, mobile apps, or other products that you can think of. This is the first product. It's called Figma Design, and it's the one that we're going to be using today. But I also want to show you a couple more that exist. So the other one's called FigJam. This one I haven't used it personally, but it looks really nice for making diagrams because it's like a digital whiteboard canvas. It can also serve as a notepad. This is one of the best tools if you want to brainstorm or you are planning to build something in collaborative environments. You can think of using FigJam for your hackathons, class meetings, or even meeting with other people where you just want a white canvas in order to develop your ideas. I think this is a really powerful tool. I haven't used it, but I will definitely look into it when making my next diagram for any project. Then the third one that we have is called Figma Slides, and actually, the slides that I'm sharing with you right now are designed in Figma. I believe one of our MLH coaches did those slides. I think that was Ryan Lalu, but I'm not sure. But I do know that an MLH coach built those slides from scratch. So a special shout out to that MLH coach because they're really nice. And Figma Slides is just like your regular Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint that you use, but you have specific design features. It basically makes you present your intent through the design that you're building, and it's really cute. You can embed widgets in there and gather feedback as well during presentations. It's like having more control of the slides that you're creating. So if you're experienced with Figma and you want to design your own slide deck, that's also another way to go. Okay, so let's see. Not sure if I'm lagging. I'm seeing that my camera is a bit laggy. If my Wi-Fi is starting to cut off or something, please let me know in the chat so I can see what I can do about it. Then our last tool is called Figma Dev Mode, which is the one that we're also going to be experiencing today. So Figma Dev Mode is not your normal developer copilot. So it's not like we're going to have a chatbot or we're going to have it ask stuff about our Figma design. It's different. So once you design your whole application, you can switch over to Dev Mode and convert your whole application into code. And this code can be any code that you want. So it can be HTML, it can be JavaScript, it can be any framework. They have actually different plugins that you can include into your app in order to make the code that you wish, and then you can just work from there. Yeah, as I was saying, you can integrate that and install third-party extensions to generate the code that you want. Dev Mode has also many other features that you can use, such as annotations, measurements. You can do a component version history. It even has a VS Code extension, which is really nice. I haven't tried it myself, but it's also another cool thing to mention in case that you are interested on that. Okay, we have a couple of questions in here. Logos in Figma, it's a pain. I mean, I don't share that pain because I've never used it, so I'm just ignorant, but I can understand what you're talking about. I use Figma to design an app. Yeah, that's really nice. That's really advanced as well. Okay, moving on. So now that we learned about the different tools, there's also what we are going to be doing today. So we're going to be using Figma Design and we're going to be using Dev Mode, right? So now to get into why it's important to learn Figma, or why at least you should know that it exists and that it's a really cool tool. So Figma right now, I would say it's this industry standard and go-to for collaborative design for the majority of startups and also companies that are out there. Nowadays, it's almost hard to find a company that doesn't use Figma somewhere in their design process. And this is one of the biggest perks of learning Figma, because you are leveraging their design systems and the design kits that you're going to be using. So yeah, it's a really important tool. We're gonna be diving a bit more on what we are talking about here. So to get started, I know there might be many tools out there and many things that are going to be related to Figma, because Figma has an entire community of design libraries and kits for you to use. It's your choice to choose the ones that you like. One of the favorites is this one, Apple iOS and iPad OS UI kit. You can also use the Google one, Google's Material Design Kit. There's different kits that you can use to get started. And the main goal of these design kits is that you save time. Why? Because Figma will give you preloaded design kits and design systems to ensure that you are not starting from scratch. So you won't be designing the iOS 18 from scratch. You're just gonna have start with this design kit, and you're gonna save time from that. And yeah, here's a bit of more explanation on these design kits. So the iOS and iPad OS, this one is from Apple's, and you can help designers and developers design iPhone and iPad apps with a consistent look and feel. And yeah, you can see how in there it integrates directly with what is the OS from Apple, and it looks really nice as well. Then the other one that's from Google, this one will basically help designers and developers build Android apps. So if you want to target an application that's towards Android, then this is the one that you're gonna following on, and it's one of the most popular design systems in the world as well. And then lastly, we have the simple design system. This one is by Figma. It's just a design system. It's a UI kit to help developers and designs get started faster using some pre-built examples and components that Figma has prepared for you. So there's three in there that you can use. There's the iOS one, there's the Google one, and then there's the native from Figma. So there's plenty of stuff that you can choose from. We have a couple questions in here. Can I get recordings of this session? Yes, they're all on our YouTube channel under Major League Hacking on the live tab. And yes, you're correct. They are uploaded onto our YouTube channel once this session ends. And if you check into the stream, I believe you also get access to the slides that I'm sharing right now on the screen. Okay, so this is why it's important to learn Figma. So this is another question, right? So why not just use a generative AI tool in order to make our applications? So yes, you can make prompts in order to create your design, but then in Figma, you get a bit more. So you have more opportunities to think and design towards the end of the user. So what the user will be liking. And most of the online products that are out there are designed by teams that use Figma. And basically, during the process of bringing design to the device, designers hand off their designs to developers who then convert them to code. So instead of just handing developers their Figma, you can actually do that yourself using the dev mode. And I just want to highlight that gaining design experience with Figma will definitely make you a more marketable engineer and someone that will have more experience on if you are driven towards design. And yeah, then there's this other question about where can I use Figma? So is this a platform? Is this an application? Is this an extension? How does this work? So we're gonna see different sites where you can use Figma. So the first one is that you can use it on your web browser. It's mostly available in there. You can interact in a modern web browser, such as Chrome, Edge, or many others. You can also download their desktop or mobile app, and you can view all of your Figma files on your mobile devices or edit them from your Mac or Windows or Linux as well. I would say that desktop and mobile only download is if you're going to be doing something very consuming. But if, for example, the project that we're going to be building today, we're going to be using our web browsers. And then the last section is that there's a VS Code extension that you can use in order to go straight from your designs into VS Code. I haven't used the desktop and mobile one or the VS Code extension, but to be honest, they sound really cool. Okay, so now we're gonna be seeing how to get access to this dev mode tool that we're gonna be using, which is all about this stream, right? So we're gonna head over into this link, and I'm gonna send that over on the chat while you create your accounts in there. So first of all, you will need to create a Figma account or log in into your existing account, right? And then the next thing that you're gonna do, you're gonna apply for the education plan. You will be able to see instructions on that link that I just shared. Figma Dev Mode basically existed. Well, it was in beta first, and now you actually require educational or professional enterprise plan to use it. And students can get free access to this education plan by visiting the link that I just shared and verify if you are eligible for it or not. I will give you about 5 minutes in order for you to claim this plan. I'm not going to be going through this myself. But if you have any questions or if you're stuck somewhere, please let me know. I'm gonna leave this screen in here and I'm just gonna hang out until you start registering your accounts. And once you register your accounts and you're verified as an educational plan, which you can prove that logging in into your regular Figma and then seeing that you are like have a tag that says educational plan, but just by signing up on this form, you should be able to do it pretty much as well. So I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. Let me just create a banner. There we go. So claim Figma Dev Mode, and you have 5 minutes to do that. There's just this form that you have to fill out. You need to select if you are a student, educator, or administrator, and then you have to select the type of institution that you are attending or working for. Um, I'm just gonna be here. Please send a message, the people that already claimed their educational plan, so I can see when can we move along as well. All right, so for the interest of time, because we only have 1 hour, I'm gonna be continuing with the stream, but feel free to keep claiming the plan and let me know once you get that done. I will be proceeding now. So for the rest of the stream, there's gonna be a part where you do need the educational account, but then there's also another part where we just don't need it because we are gonna be building our project, and then we're gonna be doing the dev mode section. Okay, so now we're gonna learn a bit about the Figma design basics before we jump into the page and start building our project. And remember that you don't need to be a designer in order to use Figma, and learning these skills are essential for developers as well in order to get into it. This is the first one. It's our main canvas. It's where you have once you create a designed file, you will have these four distinct regions. You will be having a toolbar. You will be having on the left and the right different sidebars. And the canvas is the thing that's on the end. So once you create your design file, you're going to be seeing all of these components into that same file. Then going into what is the canvas. So the canvas is basically your working area. You can pan to move around, or you can also use your mouse in order to move. You can zoom in and zoom out, use the mouse to scroll, and you can also use the trackpad. I'm going to be using the trackpad, which is going to be challenging. I didn't bring a mouse with me. That's so sad because I also like to play games, and not bringing a mouse with me. It's like, so maybe I'll just go buy a cheap mouse so I can play my games and also do our workshops better. But that's a conversation for another day. And then we also have the toolbar. The toolbar is mostly where you will have every tool's location. So you have the move around, you have the frame, we have the shape in order to create different shapes. The pen, if you want to create a vector of shapes and icons, text, comments, actions, and then you have the dev mode. So if you already claimed the educational plan and you create a new design on Figma, then you will be seeing the dev mode in there, which is just a switch that you can toggle on size. After that, we have our left sidebar. This one basically gives us access to the different layers that we have, the pages, and the different assets that we're going to be using. The left sidebar, you can say that is where you manage and organize objects in relation to each other. And most notable options in there are the pages and the layers that you're going to be using. And lastly, we have the right sidebar. So the right sidebar is where you're going to be editing all the properties of the objects that you're going to be creating. And it is design is for basically editing objects, and properties is the one for managing interactions similarly to animations. We're mostly going to be using the designing one just to change the font and the size and the padding, centering, alignment, and all of that today. But also feel free to explore the properties one for animations. And yeah, there's so much more to research about Figma. There's plenty of different resources. This was just a brief overview of the basics. There's definitely more. You can feel free to enter this link, mlh.link/Figma resources, in order to learn about the different tools that are out there. And you can use this link to view more resources if you wish. We have a couple questions. Okay, so now we have 3 people that successfully claimed the educational plan. So we have 3 of 5. I wanted to place 5 as like the minimum amount before proceeding into the next step, depending on how many people are watching the stream. So we should be having more people claiming the plan. I mean, we are almost 40, so. All right, so now moving on into the project part, we are just in time. We have about 15 minutes to build this. I know that we will get it done. We're going to be building an UI card project. So now that we already understood the fundamentals of Figma design, we're going to start building this project together. And once we complete the basics, we'll build a website with the designs using Figma Dev Mode. I hope that we can reach the end. So I'm going to be moving a bit faster. And keep in mind that all of the instructions are going to be on the screen. So as I'm going to be swapping different tabs, I will have the presentation on one, and then I will be having my Figma canvas on the other one, so I can also do it alongside with you. Let me just make a quick setup so you can see everything. Let me see. I think I'm gonna be sharing this one. Let me remove this one. I'm gonna be sharing a new screen where you're gonna be able to see like all of the other stuff. So let me close this one. Okay, great. So you should be able to see it now. There we go. And Figma. Okay, I'm ready to share my screen now. I think this one. Yep. Okay, here we are. So I'm gonna be sharing this screen in here. This one I will be having my Figma dashboard. So I already logged into Figma. Here's my account, and then it says that I'm verified for Figma education over here. So we're all set. The first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna click on this button in here on the upper corner that says design. So I'm gonna click on the design, and it's gonna start creating a new design for me, right? We are seeing right now all of the different components. So we have, let me make this a bit smaller so I can see you. There it is. Okay. So I have my canvas in here. It's this one. Then I have my left and right sidebars. This one is for the design, and this one is where I'm going to be seeing all of the layers and all of the pages that I have in here. All right, so switching back to the presentation, the first thing that we need to be doing is we're gonna be having to create a text box, and then we're gonna be typing a title in there. And we're gonna be setting that for bold. So we need to set our text to bold and 24 the font size. So let's go over here. I'm gonna click on the text one in here. You can also use shortcuts for that. I'm just gonna be creating this box in here. And I'm going to be typing my first hackathon win. And then I'm going to select this, and I want to make these 24, and I want to make these bold. I'm going to make this, I'm going to move this a bit so I can see it completely. There we go. So my first hackathon win, I changed the bold on the typography in here, and also the size, just for you to keep that in mind. Let me see if we're missing. Yeah, so 24 and bold, and create a text box. That's our first step. And then moving on to the next step. So the next step that we're going to be doing is that we're going to create a rectangle shape over here. So that's also super easy. So we're gonna go over here. Let me just see. We're gonna create the rectangle, and then soon we will insert in there something. By now we don't know where we're gonna be inserting, but we're gonna be inserting something. So the color of the rectangle, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna be placing this in here. There's my nice rectangle. So let's go back. Let's go back into the slides to see the next step. So the next step, we're going to be adding a description below our title, or we're going to be creating a text box again. So let's go back. I'm going to create in here my text box. I'm just going to type some random comments about a hackathon win that happened a while ago. That's just a random text that I want to include. We're going to change, let me check the specifics. We're going to change our something about the typography in here. So let's see. We're going to be setting our typography. I think 16, it's nice, the font size. And then we're also going to set it to regular. And we're going to select the auto hide for our text so it doesn't overlap. So let's change these. It's not going to be bold anymore. It's going to be regular. Then I'm going to change these to 16 so it's smaller. And let's see where it's the apply. I want to use the feature that's called, how do I call this? In layout, select the option auto hide. Where's the layout? Auto hide, is it this one? Why I'm not, oh yeah, it's this one, it's the middle one. So auto hide is the one that's in the middle. You can hover in order to see it. So there's auto width, auto hide, and then we had the fixed size. So we're gonna be selecting the auto hide in this one. All right, and then after doing that, let's move on to the next step. So for the next step, we're gonna be placing an image in the rectangle. So we're gonna select the rectangle in there. We're gonna click on fill color code and upload an image from our computer. Let me see if there's any questions. No, we're all good. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Let me see. I'm going to be clicking on the rectangle on the field section in here. Instead of just selecting a color, I'm going to upload an image. So in here, select the image icon. Click on here, upload from computer. Let me see. I don't know which image to choose. I don't know which one is this one. Let's see. Oh, okay, this one is from a hackathon that we went for Gemini 3.0. It was a launch party. So I'm going to be selecting that image and then just leaving it like that, right? So I'm just going to close this one. Now I have the image in here. There we go. Great. So we have someone that already placed the image. Great. That's great to see. Next thing that we're going to do, let's see our next step. Let's slide over here. We're going to be creating a frame to group all of the things that we have together into our single like frame. I don't know how to explain this, but it's called a frame. So a frame is just basically like selecting everything together. So there's different ways to do this. You can either use the button, which is the one that I'm going to be using, or for people that like shortcuts, you can also use the shortcuts in there. And then after doing that, we're going to do, I'm going to skip to the next step. So we're going to do the frame, and then we're also going to be using the auto layout. And for the auto layout, we're going to do Shift A. So again, we're going to create a frame, and then we're going to do the auto layout. So let's go into Figma and do that. I'm going to click in here for the frame. I'm going to select all of my components in here. So I already selected them. And then I'm going to do Control A in order to do the auto layout. I'm also going to change the feeling in here. So it's not white. I'm going to change it for it to be completely transparent. There we go. Why can't I see the title? I'm going to add my title inside the frame over here because I'm not able to see it. What color is this one? Oh, it's transparent. Let me change these to white. There we go. Cool, right? So now that we have our frame created, you are able to see these, and it's also an auto layout. So we have everything nicely selected and done. So there's a couple configurations that we're going to be doing in here. So after doing the auto layout, we're also going to be adding some styling. So for this styling, there's a couple of things that we need to get done. So we're going to be selecting the hog element that basically will make all the contents adapt. We're also going to be using the width in there. So there's a couple of things. I'm going to do them just step by step on the Figma in here. And let's just make this a bit smaller so you can see it. Okay, so hog element, let's see. Which one is the hog element? Vertical, toggle auto layout. We already have that one. Okay, first I'm going to do the stroke. This one's just easy. We're going to select the stroke width to 2. That's just going to make a nice border for our frame. If you see there's a black border in there, I'm going to change the black border because we can't really see what's going on. So I'm going to change these to color yellow. Yep. There we go. So now we can see the nice border. And the border, I'm going to add a corner radius so it's nice and round. So I'm going to place 16. Again, this is just a random number that I picked. You can feel free to select any corner radius as you wish. Now I just need to find the hug stuff in here. So for the alignment, we can do a center alignment, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be, it's not gonna be nice. Okay, the layout direction is gonna be vertical. Where's that? Vertical, there we go. Then for this one's already in hug contents, nice. And then for the alignment, we're gonna keep it in this one as the presentation set, which is alignment left. And then we're also gonna be adding a gap in here. I'm gonna be adding 6 as gaps, so everything is like divided itself. For the padding, what's the selection? Let me see. For the padding, they're selecting 24. So let's add 24 as padding on both sides. There we go. So we have now padding, vertical and horizontal padding to 24. We have a gap of 6. We have a hugging alignments, layout direction to vertical. We already have that. What else? Corner radius, we already did that. Okay, so my only concern is why this image is looking really weird. Field container, is that the correct answer? No. Because this is looking a bit weird in here. Huh. Yeah, the auto layout, I'm not liking how the image is showing, but I'm just gonna ignore it because I'm just being very picky. Okay, so moving on into the next section, let's see. The next part that we're gonna be doing is that we're gonna be creating a bigger frame for our card in there. I missed the frame. Okay, never mind. I found it. Okay, nice. Claimed it at previous Global Hack Week. Great. I'm gonna be copy pasting the instructions for the frame on the chat so you can see them. Because I think they're helpful. It's gonna be a long text that I'm gonna be pasting on the chat, but that's just so you can see all of the instructions in there. For the frame that I created right now. It's all of the specifics that I was just mentioning. Okay, so that's for the frame. And then the next thing that we're going to be doing is that we're going to be creating another frame, but to fill out different stuff around the card so we can represent the screen to display. And yeah, you can see frames as containers because they can organize stuff, and we're going to be doing that just now. So let me go back into the Figma and create that larger frame. I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller. Over here, I'm gonna be creating a bigger frame where I'm gonna be filling everything. There we go. So we have a bigger frame in there. I'm gonna be changing the feeling to make it transparent so I can see everything. There we go. So now we have our 2 frames. We have this one and then we have the smaller one, right? Okay, great. So that's the next step. Just create your box and then let's see what's next. The next step that we're going to be doing, we already created the frame and we're going to make the frame auto layout. So Shift A. So I'm going to click on the frame and then I'm going to be doing Shift A. There we go. So we already have the auto layout in this one. Wait, this one also has auto layout. There it is. Okay. So now I have auto layout on my second frame. Let's see the next step. So the next step is that we're gonna add a general web layout styling. So we're gonna do layout wrap. We're gonna set the alignment to top left and we're gonna adjust the padding and spacing. So for padding, they're using 64 and for spacing, they're using 32. So we're gonna click on my second frame. I'm going to select hugging here, which is already done. Padding, they're using 64, so I'm going to be using 64 as well. For alignment, they're using top left, so I already selected that one. And for gap, I believe they were selecting 32 in here. If you see this are they're using 32 for the alignment. So for the gap, they're using 32. There we go. And what was the alignment? The alignment is top left. And then they're using horizontal alignment, but with wrapping. So I'm going to be selecting the wrapping in this one. Awesome. So now we have our frame with all of our padding configuration, the gaps, and the alignment done. So let's see what's coming up next. So after that, we're just going to be copy pasting my first frame in order to make these nice uniform layouts. So let's go ahead and do that. So I will take this one and I'm just going to be copy pasting this one. I'm going to be copy pasting another one and another one in here. Great. So now I have 3 identical cards in here that are being auto adjusted. So yeah, I won't be doing any more designing. This is all the designing that we're going to be needing. I'm going to just see if there's any questions on the chat before moving on to the section that's about dev modes. Okay. Okay, there's no questions, so let's move on to the next section. Where's my other screen? Here we go. So the next section is about the dev mode basics. So learning the essentials for designers. So we already learned how to use some designing tools, and now we're gonna get into the dev mode part. So for this one, let's see. For the UI card project, what we're gonna do next is that we are going to be selecting the general container that we have in there. We're going to click on the dev mode button, and then we're just going to be basically interacting and changing these into the dev mode. So to toggle the dev mode, you can use Shift D, or you can also use this button that's in here. And I'm going to be doing that right now. So I am selecting my bigger frame, which is the frame 2, and then I'm just going to be clicking on the dev mode button, which is in there. So now that I changed to dev mode, you can see that everything is set up a bit differently. So I have my frame 2 selected in here. There's also the MCP where you can connect to an AI agent in here. We're not going to be diving into this today, but this is a new tool that Figma just basically launched that is for MCP servers in order if you want to connect an AI agent. Then you can see all of the layer properties in here, and you can see the code. So if you're not seeing the HTML code in here, make sure that you select this one from Figma to code HTML over here. But you can also change it to CSS, or you can change it to iOS, Swift UI, whatever that suits your needs. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using HTML. So I dive in here. Now I have my code. I also have my my text styles in here, which is really nice. So the CSS to be more direct. And now I'm gonna be creating super fast VS Code project where I'm gonna be opening a live server to show you how easy it is to change these Figma design into code using this stuff over here. So this is exactly what's in instructions that you can design in here with the layout and also generate the code as well, which is in this one. So you can change to iOS from Swift UI, or you can also change for our case that we're going to be using HTML. And yet the next step is that we are going to be creating a new HTML file. You can use an IDE or a notepad, and we're going to be opening that HTML file on our browser. I'm not going to be, maybe I can do the CSS as well. So I will stop sharing this screen now, and I will start sharing my VS Code again. So the slides are on this checking link if you want to access them, or I can also share them. Oh, I don't think they're public. I think you need to log in and register in order to get the slides. You can try checking in and seeing if you can get access on the slides again, and just let me know. If not, I can share the slides with you later on Discord as well. Okay, so let me start opening up a new VS Code. Just give me a moment, because I need to create a new window and then open up a new folder and stuff. So yeah, right now I'm just opening up a new folder for the Figma project, just to make it super quick. New folder, Figma test. Okay, I'm done. So let me stop sharing this full screen and share screen again. Okay, so you should be seeing my VS Code in there. I'm going to be creating a new file. I'm going to call these Figma test, and then just do .html. And then I'm going to paste the code that I generated with my Figma over there. So if I go back to the project, I'm not going to be sharing that screen, but I'm going to be using the code that I was sharing. So I'm going to copy paste that that one in there, and I'm going to be pasting that in here. So now I have the HTML file in here. I can also try doing the CSS. So adding the CSS, let me add a, maybe it won't load, styles.css. This is not CSS. Whatever. Then I'll just delete this one, and we can use a template. So we have this one for the HTML, and I'm gonna go ahead and open a live server. So it already opened up. Now let me switch one. I open it up my live server, and let me share this one now. Okay, I think my screen just lagged for a second. Okay, my bad. It disconnected really bad, but I'm back now. So just to wrap up, I was going to show you the output of the code generated by Figma Dev Mode, which is over here. We can see it. So this is what was being generated, which are the three cards that I have. And if I were to expand these, then the design just basically, it has a nice layout in here where I can see everything. So just as that easy. I mean, this is missing the styles, of course. That's why it's not showing me like the images or anything, because you need to do that by yourself. But you can do, plenty of things in here. If you create your project, then you are going to be using that one. Okay, so now just to wrap up, that we already finished these. You can also try the Figma for VS Code. That's also another thing that you can do. And then lastly, I'm going to be sharing a Figma survey. This is not the correct survey. Let me just share the correct link with you all. I'm gonna share you the short link in case that you have any feedback about this stream of Figma specifically related or the dev mode that we were experiencing today. Just feel free to fill out the survey that's over here. It's mlh.link dash Figma survey. And yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, I'll be closing the stream right now, but I have another stream like starting right now, which is the rack stream. So I'm gonna be closing this session so we can save this recording and then opening it up again for the rack stream that we're gonna be creating our own rack system. And yeah, that was all, people. I'll be seeing you in a couple minutes. So feel free to stay once I start the other live session. Bye, everyone.